Hi, good afternoon. My name is Startea Reyes, and I'm presenting my applied differentiated instructional plan, World of Shapes, Math. First up, I'm discussing my educational context. So, I currently work at a charter school, which is located in the Bronx, New York, and it's located in the central, or I should say the South Bronx, and it's a highly congested and poorest congressional districts in the Bronx. I currently teach kindergarten. I am an assistant teacher in ICT setting. It's two other teachers with me, so therefore it's three teachers, 20 students, diverse population, which consists of 11 male students, 9 female students. Every student receives free meals such as breakfast, lunch, and snack. 5 students with IEPs and 3 L students. Diverse learning needs should be accommodated, and teachers should approach their instruction with fairness, commitment to the growth, and eventual success of every student. Word Jack, 2019. So basically, it breaks down like this, that this quote strategically actually reflects the importance of implementing a strong, effective, and diverse instruction that helps target the needs of an individual in any learning environment, which is essential for educators to use different variety of strategies to enhance learning for both the student and teacher. As you can see, this picture right here is a perfect picture that can sum up the different diverse students, whether it's physical or if it's mental, emotional. Us as educators, we have to approach every situation differently because not one child is always the same. You have to modify different approaches for different students. Not one learning model fits all. It may fit some, but some not all. Remember, differentiating needs to always connect with the idea of developing the whole student or the whole child approach. Plan rationale for differentiated instruction. Tomlinson 2021 stated, managing a differentiated classroom is promoting on task behavior. Tomlinson suggests that we should help students understand that we value on task behavior, and that we should be specific for what they need to do. As a result, it eliminates distractions for others. So, based on that, she's exactly right that if you set the expectations right away, for some students, they will understand, oh, this is what I should be doing. And then it will eliminate all or minimize distractions and behavior issues. But sometimes that still isn't enough. So if you work with your team to create a thorough plan on how we can challenge the student emotionally, physically, mentally, then that will help you as an educator to figure out what's best for that student. Once you figure out what's best for that student, that is the golden rule of differentiation. And then once you got that unlocked, then the distractions will be minimal. This is in connection to the idea of tiering assignment. So, like Cox stated, when you tier an assignment, you're essentially just making an adjustment within the same lesson in order to meet the needs of all students. Remember, when you are doing an assignment or an activity or unit, you must differentiate based on your students' needs, based on your population of kids. Each year, you get a new group of kids. You can't use the same plan from the year before because every student or all students are different in some way. So it's always great to have a thorough plan that you can make adjustments to that is sorry you guys that adjustments to or modifications to right away, no matter if it's a behavior issue or if that child or students are not getting that actual skill right then. When you have a great foundation in place, it creates a better vision for molding the minds for learning. It's true when you are strategically differentiating the classroom, you are aiming high to receive every student to create a positive culture. This enables different types of learning with the intention for students to grow academically and behaviorally based on tailored instruction to their needs. So, next I have here is a planning pyramid. So basically, when I developed this unit or expanded on this unit, I used the planning pyramid to help me outline what are my objectives, what is the overall goals of this whole unit that I want everyone to gain, to retain. So this is how I broke it down. Some students will know how to properly identify 2D and 3D shapes, can make real-world connections with 2D and 3D shapes, analyzing and comparing shapes. Most students will know how to correctly identify shapes and their attributes, how to work together, develop problem solving skills, how to identify shapes from the real world, which shapes hold the most capacity. All students will know how to identify both 2D flat shapes and 3D solid shapes. Proper vocabulary when describing the shapes. How to compare and contrast shapes with attributes. How to create their own infrastructures out of shapes from within the classroom. To demonstrate knowledge by verbalizing and showcasing their creations. Turn and talk with fellow teammates or other classmates about the process they had to go through to create infrastructures made from shapes. When developing this planning pyramid, I had to take into consideration of the various needs of the students. Overall, 90% of my students were very strong in understanding math skills, and it still was about 10% that was still struggling or below grade level, which most of those 10% were actually all the IEP students. All students will be using various strategies to help them thoroughly understand 2D and 3D shapes and how to successfully create functional infrastructure. Some of the strategies that will benefit both the high learners and the struggling learners will be interactive hands-on activities and math centers. Overall, the students would have to feel comfortable and retain the information to successfully continue their learning. Now we have next is our my pre-learning pre-activity. Pre-learning activities are very important for both the student and the educator because this allows for teachable moments based on learning new concepts and content. Pre-learning activities are warm-up exercises that allow students to be prepared or help review material. Key points of pre-activity: review vocabulary, concept, expectations, visuals, anchor charts, warm-up, mini lessons. So, in this case, the objective of my pre-learning activity, well, the objective overall in this lesson was students will be able to describe and communicate positions of all flat shapes using the words above, below, in front, or next to, behind. So as you can see on the right hand side, this is this is a part of my tiered assignment of this activity that's within the unit. So as the warm up, students will listen to, sing, watch YouTube video identifying shapes and attributes positions. Mini lesson. Teacher will tell students that I have a mystery bag. Carefully, the teacher will shake the shapes onto the desk. Students will work with a partner and say the name of each shape and attribute. Let's play Simon Says. If I say Simon Says, find the shape, hold it up, and freeze. Simon Says, hold up a shape that has four corners. Simon Says, hold up a shape that has no straight lines. Simon Says, hold up a shape that has one more than five sides. The teacher will tell students that they are going to play a different game with the same shapes and they've been playing with. Put all the shapes in a row on the top of your desk. We are going to play our game in a different way. I'm going to ask to arrange your shapes in a certain way. Listen carefully and don't forget to listen to Simon Says. Simon Says, put a curved shape below your chair. Simon Says, hold your square above your friend. Put a square in front of you. And that was it right now. So the warm up and mini lesson for all three sections, which is beginner, intermediate, or average, and advanced or high, are all the same. It's always great to create or set the expectations during the warm up and mini lesson for everyone to get a sense of what we're doing together, for we can be on the same page. Next, we have our during learning interactive activity. Resources or materials that would allow students for success, such as YouTube videos, which focuses on shapes and measurement, learning centers, pictures and label of each shape, rulers. So as you can see on the right, I have now the focus and activity. It is different for each group because their focus is completely different and the needs are different. So, focus for the first group, the beginners consist of a mixed variety of students with diverse academic needs, such as L and IEP students. These students will receive direct instruction within a small group. Activity is During this activity, the beginner level students will be focusing on 1 to 2 shapes at a time and the attributes positions by sorting them into piles or matching each picture. that looks like that shape. There's no time limit with this group because this group have short attention spans and memory recall is very minimal. Strictly teaching content vocabulary through visuals is key for this group. Second group, which is the intermediate slash average. These students will receive modeling instruction with student participation within small groups or pairs. The activity is building on from the first group. They can do a little bit more. During this activity, these students are working on identifying 3 to 4 shapes and their attributes, positions. And in the form of a scavenger hunt in the classroom, one teacher would demonstrate or model what are the expectations of this activity and continue to guide the students if they need help, but provide clues, but encourage them to work together, work harder, and achieve higher level thinking and have fun. The last group, which is our advanced higher group, will work independently with minimal to zero modeling instruction. The activity, again, it's building on from the other two. During this activity, students who are advanced would focus on 4 or more shapes and their attributes positions independently. During this independent phase of this activity, students would have to sort the similarities and differences between shapes and the attributes positions. In order for students to complete this activity, students must draw and write one sentence above any about any shape. So, like I said, all three groups are different, but they also are the same, if that makes sense. The content is the content is different. The process is the same. The overall product will be the same. It's just how you deliver it to their needs. According to Dodge 2005, during this interactive learning activity, the teaching guides students to select information, making connections, note relationships, and seek meaning. Dodge 2005, page 31. So that means that if you structure an activity well enough with content process and products involved in this planning of designing of your lesson and unit, your students will be able to make connections. Your students will be able to understand the information. Students can make relationships. And then after that, they can make inferences about what else they can learn. They can just keep building on their learning. Now, on the post-learning activity or reflective, students during this activity stage are wrapping up their thoughts, strong conclusions about the topic, and they will share. Different ways in which students are using higher level thinking and helping their own learning develop develop their own infrastructure or bridge by using different shapes and materials located throughout the classroom. Collaborating in a team, show and tell presentation in the form of gallery walk. Take pictures of their work on iPads and computers. Self-assessments, rubrics. As you can tell to the right, I've developed a self-assessed rubric which have 3 sections: star, smiley face, and check. So the star represents, or it means, I worked hard to complete my work task following the objectives of the lesson. Smiley face. I worked hard to complete my work task, but had trouble understanding the objectives. Check. I worked hard on my objective, but had trouble completing my work. So, just based on creating that self-assessed rubric, hold on, self-assessed rubric, by implementing a self-assessment rubric for kindergarten, this is easier for them to understand and allows the students to continue to be engaged in the unit. Also, by allowing the students to explore, it helps them to make decisions on their learning and helps the teacher. The self-assessment targets all of my learners' needs and to help them explore their higher level thinking by still satisfying the reflected Common Core standards. This task is meaningful to my learners because this would allow students' strengths to shine. By allowing the students to participate in engaging group projects that will eventually balance individual learners within the group to develop higher level thinking. This simple, easy rubric has three symbols that they are familiar to help complete tasks. But if they are struggling, the teacher will be walking around guiding. So, this is a connection to what Dodge had said in 2005. Students synthesize what has been learned, reorganize the information, and applied it in new ways. Dodge 2005, page 31. So, this quote means that students have developed their own learning methods to help them retain information and eventually guide them to a successful higher learning journey to help teach others. What is content, process, and product? Content, process, and product, they each balance out one another within the art of differentiated instruction. It's like the phrase, there's no I in team, there's no I in differentiation. There needs to be content, a process, and a product to be successful and see a return. Content is defined by how teachers teach and implement the material and what the students need to learn. Process is the opportunity for learners to process the content or ideas and skills to which they have been introduced. Product is something that is meant to help students rethink, use, extend what they have learned over a long period of time. Tomlinson, 2001. As you can see to your left, student driven differentiation roadmap. This was created by Lisa Westman. It's like a brief roadmap of differentiation or the expectation of the individual student. So, stage one defines learning intentions and success criteria with your grade level or department colleagues. Stage two, hook the students to promote authentic engagement. Stage three, assess students formatively and analyze results. Stage four, group students and choose instructional strategies, plus student voice. Stage five, sell a goal with students. Stage six, differentiate the content, process, product, or learning environment. Stage seven, monitor progress towards goal collaboratively. Stage eight, assess again to determine effectiveness. Again, content, process, and product is a continuing thing throughout the stages of the learning inside of your lesson. Here, content, process, and product is displayed within my unit by having anchor charts. In my content area, it's anchor charts, student choice, learning centers, examples, modeling, process, anchor charts, digital resources such as YouTube, BrainPop, ABCYA, Starfall, Technology, iPads, computers. Tiered instruction. For products, student choice, collaborating with fellow students, understanding STEM, gallery walk, show and tell presentation, self-assess with rubrics, exit tickets, and journals. So as you can tell, there's a few things that overlap in certain areas. Again, all three areas work cohesively to produce a great learning product for the overall student, or students, I should say. Strategies of differentiated instruction, featuring taxonomy, pyramid, gradual release of responsibility, tiered instruction activity. So, based on these three things, unfortunately, I cannot fit in my tiered activity on this slide, but previously I did screenshot some of them, some of my tiered instruction activity for this unit throughout the presentation. So first, I have on my left-hand side the Bloom's taxonomy pyramid. So it's 6 different levels, which the first level is to create. You're combining new ideas and parts to make a whole. Level 2, you're evaluating, judging the values of information or ideas. 3, analyzing by breaking down information into components or parts. 4, applying the facts, rules, concepts, and ideas. 5, understanding what the facts mean. 6, recognizing, recalling facts, which is remembering. And then we have on the right-hand side, the gradual release responsibility. So teacher responsibility is on the upside down triangle. Focused, guided instruction is focused, model instruction, guided instruction, shared instruction, coach, assess, guided practice, assess, and plan, independent practice. Then the triangle going up, which is green, listen and engage, listen and participate, collaborative learning, independent learning, student responsibility. So basically in both of them, or I should say, both of them, they share the same idea of, oh, this is the process of how you should plan or what you should look for when developing a lesson for differentiation. It should have your guided practice moments. You should have your focus areas. You should have collaborating areas. You should also have independent time for the students. The model that I always love to use from gradual release is I do, we do, you do, and then we do it again together. Because if you keep practicing and practicing with them, they will eventually get it. Once you do it together to get them a little bit comfortable, and then they got a little bit more comfortable with we do it, and then you push them hard enough, but appropriately, they can do it on their own independently. Like I said, tiered instruction is a strategy that helps teachers to plan, design, implement, organize assignments that targets different learning levels within the classroom. The overall student outcome by using tiered method instruction is to help the students be successful while learning on different levels, while absorbing and delivering the same concept and information. Cox states, when you tier an assignment, you're essentially just making an adjustment within the same lesson in order to meet the needs of all students. It's true when you are strategically differentiating the classroom lesson. You are aiming high to service every student to create a positive classroom culture that enables different types of learning with intention for students to grow academically, behaviorally, based on tailored instruction to their needs. Bloom's taxonomy framework is a great source that helps determine the deeper, different comprehension strategies that will help educators understand their students individually and learning goals. Gradual release of responsibility strategy is a strategic learning model that allows educators to flip roles by encouraging collaboration, independency, accountability during a lesson or unit. Overall, all three strategies are great tools to use to help understand and support whole student, as well as strengthening, making the teacher practices more efficient, effective, and dynamic. Future goals. Continue to work on my craft by developing more units that I feel comfortable with differentiating. Move up from princess level of knowledge to expert level. Always make sure that my lessons are meaningful, primarily through implementation of differentiation. Always continue to make impactful, positive relationships. Summary. Remember, practice makes perfect and permanent. Overall, create more distinction within the lesson to help students feel included and let all students shine. As educators, we have to continue to push our students with great intentions and prepare them for the whole world by having a great balance of learning exploration, which helps demonstrates positive classroom cultures. Thanks. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Have a great day. Bye.